death, and aliens, an in-depth look at horror and sci-fi TV from two friends who vaguely know what they're doing. I'm Courtney.
And I'm MK.
And how are you?
I am okay. I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm coming up on the end of work. Just trying to make it through the week. I still don't have a classroom. They still never answered that email. It's now been like 2 weeks. We sent a follow-up email today. Did not hear back. Starting to get real annoyed because I want to clean my desk and move things. Can't. Um, Last week was like weird because all the exams that I like proctored were like from noon to like 6 p.m. instead of me being there at like my regular hours. Um, so I haven't gone into like I'm going into work at like 10 o'clock. And it's weird because I didn't want to take a nap when I got home today because I wasn't tired because I like
You should
actually
wake
just
up.
woke up when I wanted to wake up and then went to work when I was awake.
Love that for you.
So weird. Don't know who I am. But no, I'm just I have bought too many things in the last like couple weeks because I'm just buying outfits and things for the honeymoon, and I have not tallied down how much money I have spent on clothes in the last 4 months. We're gonna never let him know that. Um, but yeah, I'm okay. It's just been weird. Dan's very upset about the state of the world and has been a downer, which listen, his feelings are valid, but he's moping like somehow he can affect the outcome of World War III, and I'm over it.
I know. Everybody keeps telling me, they're like, are you going to go do something? Are you going to go do this? Are you going to join a protest? And I was like, I literally can only change the world if I become a licensed attorney. Like, that is literally how I affect things. Therefore, I cannot do anything else but study for the bar. Like,
Right.
that is
No.
how change
And like
occurs.
here's the thing. And here's the thing. True. Like absolutely.
Mhm.
But also, I'm gonna be honest. N- At this point, we're screwed. Like
Sure, sure.
and nobody, no one person in not even a top 100 city in America is gonna somehow stop the fact that the world's already falling apart. So, I'm just trying to not murder my husband because he's so sad about things that he has no ability to do anything about. So I fix that by shopping and reading.
That was the chewiest piece of crust I've ever had in my whole life. I was trying to like mute myself because I know it's loud because it's so crispy and chewy.
Yeah,
And then I was like, I can't chew any harder. Anyways, it's my turn to talk out, I'm
it
guessing.
is. That's fine. Yeah,
um, you got quiet. I was like, I should be talking, but I couldn't.
it's
Um,
okay.
anyways, so I'm okay. If you're watching this, I look exhausted because I am. But
As I am.
also my my like eyes freaked out today. Its sinuses are off the chart, so I had to remove
Yeah.
all of my makeup that I wear to work. And so it's just au naturel. Aside from my Zoom inspired lipstick. Um it's inspired by Zoom because
It's creative.
that's who put it on me. Um yeah. So I don't know. It's okay. Everything is like, when it rains it pours, etc.
Yeah.
Um my refrigerator went out this week. Do you
Yeah.
know when's a good time for that? Not when you're studying for the bar.
No.
Um,
I don't know that
not
there's
this.
ever a good time for that unless you're like already emptied it out, planned on buying a new one.
Sure, no, for sure it's not. But like the act of having to like go get one and deal with it takes like 5 to 6 hours out of my study time, which is not available for me.
I I'm probably a terrible person because I would just buy one online.
Well, here's the thing, they're $500 online. Guess who doesn't have $500?
Mm.
Me. So I found one, and by me, I mean literally I just showed up. My mom was kept trying to send me stuff, and I was like, I don't know. In my door, this is fine. I don't remember if I talked about this before. My front door is like 2 inches shorter or like 2 inches skinnier than like every other front door in the world.
Yeah,
And so you
sounds
have to
about
be
right.
really right. And so you have to be really particular about like what you're carrying in like measurements because it doesn't fit regular
Valid.
things.
Nope, that's valid.
And Sadie, don't pull my curtains down again. And so I'm like having everyone like send me measurements that were reaching out on Marketplace. And we found one for $100, which was chef's kiss. And I just like I threw it in the friend group and I was like, I need a fridge. And so friend group responded with, here's two links to fridges that are $100 and better. And I was like, dope. And then I was like, also, and then like four people are like, also, we know people with trucks. There's like 9 guys in this group and they all have trucks. So like obviously. And I was like,
Obviously. I also
amazing.
know people with a truck.
Right. I was like, amazing. Let's get on this. And so I messaged the person and they were like, yeah, you can come by tomorrow. And so like we went and a couple of my friends came over, they showed me the house, we all rode together in the truck. And we get there and they had to take the doors off the refrigerator to get it out of their house. And I was like, cool, this is gonna be great. Good experience. We're gonna take off these doors and my door. We didn't. We only had to take off refrigerator doors.
Very
But
nice.
it was from a woman who had to be in her 90s because she, like, the woman I was talking to said her mother-in-law passed away, and then I met the son of the mother-in-law, and he was mid-70s easy. And so, like, she had to be real old. Um,
How do people live that long?
no idea. I don't know how I'm gonna live till tomorrow. Like, that feels long. But like, so
I
I
mean,
had to,
like,
so I flew.
legitimately, we're bordering on middle age.
No, no, ma'am, no, ma'am. That's not today. Wait till after the bar for stuff like that. We are not having more
No, I
existential
was listening to a
crises.
podcast the other day, and one of the guys was like, they don't start calling you middle aged till like your 50s. And like, I don't want that to be the middle of my life. I don't want to live till I'm 110. That sounds awful.
Um, I'd like to circle back at 50 and see if I'm still like where I'm at. Because like today, I'm like I could probably stay alive. Again, state of the world,
No,
we'll
no, no.
see. But like,
Could I stay alive? Yes. Would it be a life worth living?
see,
Questionable.
that's why I'm like just check back every few milestones because like if I'm 60 and can't walk and like can't breathe, like not making it till 90. But like if I'm
My
60
knee
and
has
spry,
refused my knee has refused to be a knee multiple times this week. I've gone to sit down and my kneecap doesn't move when I like correctly when I bend and it just like stays. And so I don't think the option of me being 60 and spry exists.
sure, sure. I still have hope that I could be 60 and spry.
Okay.
Um, so if I am, then I could live till like 70 or 80 and be fine probably. But this woman for sure was mid 90s. And so like I don't know when she passed away. I don't know how long this fridge had been off. And it was so like it was really dirty, but like and they were like, it's an old fridge, but it works really well. And I was like, well, we're just gonna have to power through it. So me and my mom like deep cleaned it for like 3 hours. My whole house smelled like bleach for like 2 days. Um, and then I had to go to Home Depot and get like a filter and like a nut to like put the water line in. And it was just like one thing after another. And I was like,
Yeah.
this is like I was 30 hours behind on studying. This is 10 hours that I can't apply to that. Like this is not helpful for my state
Right.
of life. So that was a fun experience. But then I get this fridge. So that's not where the story ends, let me tell you. So then I get this fridge and it starts just like going out every 4 or 5 hours. Just like throwing the breaker. I was like, I'm going to die if I've bought a fridge and the compressor doesn't work. I don't need a fridge. I just won't eat food unless it doesn't need to be cold. Um, but then I've plugged it into a surge protector, which is what I was instructed by multiple people, and it has now been on for like 48 hours. So maybe I have a fridge. That'd be really great if I did. Um, so that's kind of the like mental state I'm in
Yeah.
of just hoping for the best. Um, and my eyes are burning, so I'm thriving. Can you give me a little
A little something.
guidance? A little something.
As doctors. as friends, as human beings, we all try to do the best we can. But the world is full of unexpected twists and turns. And just when you've gotten the lay of the land, the ground underneath you shifts and knocks you off your feet. If you're lucky, you end up with nothing more than a flesh wound, something a band-aid will cover. But some wounds are deeper than they first appear and require more than just a quick fix. With some wounds, you have to rip off the band-aid and let them breathe and give them time to heal.
Well, let's just hope I'm in the flesh wound stage and
Man.
not in this. I ain't got time for the rest of it. Um, okay. So today we are talking about Clarice, season 1, episode 13, the final episode of Clarice.
Thank
Family
God.
is freedom. It aired June 24th of 2021. It was rated 7.4 out of 10. Our number one song is still Butter. Our number one movie is F9, The Fast Saga, which I still haven't seen any of those. And the number one book. Oh, yeah, what?
I've seen only the first one.
Oh, I've heard, I probably like them, but my ex was super into them and I
Yeah.
didn't like him. So that didn't go well, so I never watched them. And the number one book was Freed by E.L. James, which we've recently spoken about as
Yep, we
Twilight
have.
fanfiction. So good stuff.
Good
On
stuff.
this day, this is when the Champion Towers in Surfside, Florida collapsed, if you recall. In the middle
I
of the pandemic
sure
when the
don't.
building just fell down. Um, I do recall this because I was like, that is like, we're not even doing anything. There's nothing in the world is happening because we're in the middle of a pandemic, all in all. And then they just fell. It was like wild. Um, they're very good. Oh, this was also when they found 761 people um, buried at the Marieville Residential School in Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan or Saskatchewan probably is the
Saskatchewan.
province, yeah.
I do not know enough about Canada. But yeah, I also remember that. That was a big deal. Joe Churchill, who was she did something with like the health stuff in the UK.
Mm.
Had announced it today that they were going to ban junk food commercials before the end of the year on daytime TV and the internet in the UK to
Mm.
combat obesity. And Windows announced Windows 11, and I was like, I don't know, Windows, read the room. Like,
Right.
do we really need a new one of you? Because every time we get a new Windows, it just throws everything to chaos.
Windows 11 is still garbage. Windows 11 is there is about right now in the next like 2 or 3 months is when Windows 11 will officially be the only thing that you're able to use.
Cool.
But Windows 11 is terrible.
Wonderful. I have Apple products, so I use Windows at work, but that goes out. I just don't work. So, could be worse. Um,
Oh my God.
our direct,
I was
yes.
sorry. I was gonna check what I was doing that day, but I didn't post anything on Facebook, and so I want to use my Google timeline. But because I got a new phone, my Google timeline doesn't tell me anything other than past yesterday.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
because I didn't put the backup on the Google on my Google account on my other device, so I have to turn my old phone back on
Hmm,
and back up the Google timeline so that I have it because
that's annoying.
I use it for a lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah. Most importantly, this podcast.
Obviously,
Yeah. Hmm. Our director is Demaine Davis, who we've seen before. Our writers are Janelle Lamette, Alex Kurtzman, and Tess Leibowitz, and our editor is Elena McNamee. So no one knew. Um, Mostly just all the creative team that built the
yeah,
show.
yeah.
So um our star, because we haven't talked about her yet, is Jane Atkinson, who plays Ruth, our AG. And
Okay,
she is known for Free Willy, The Village, 24, and House of Cards.
checks out. Yep.
So like almost our childhood, but then House of Cards, which was like college. Um,
Yeah.
and she also played I don't know if it was an attorney general or a senator, but she played one of those roles like as a pretty big role in Criminal Minds as well. So this is like
That,
a
yeah.
routine role for her. Um, she was nominated for two Tonys, or she's been nominated for two Tonys, one in 2000 for Rainmaker and one in 2003 for Enchanted April. Um,
Hmm.
and she was born in the UK, but she grew up in Miami, like went to all of her schooling in Miami, so she moved really young.
Yeah.
Um, and she was the homecoming queen.
Okay.
And she still posts about her high school friends on Instagram, like as recently as like 4 months ago.
All right.
So
You do
she's
you,
still,
girl.
yeah. And she graduated from the Yale Drama School. So she's just like living her best life. She's still like constantly doing theater. Like she did a show called Still last year.
Ooh, I heard of
Um,
that. I heard about that one.
in Chicago,
Yeah, I
just
think it
somewhere
was
in the States.
Chicago.
Um,
What's her name again? Ruth?
Jade Atkinson,
Jane Atkins. Ruth is her character.
Jayne.
Jane.
And then she had another one towards the end of the year, but I forgot what it was called because she didn't post as much about it as she did about the first one. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, that's our gal. She's just living her best life. So
Love
now
that.
we start where we left off. Tyson comes inside Map's apartment and he's like trying to talk to her and he's noticing that all of her FBI stuff is home. And he's like, did you quit your job? And she's like, we're just, yeah, just it is what it is. Like, um, and we go back to Vicat. We kind of some back and forth where they're discussing Tyson, obviously,
Yeah.
because where we left off, we knew we had to find him. Um, but unfortunately, he's totally clean. They're like, there's not even like shoplifting. There's no like driving or issues. Like, this kid is like 100% clean. We don't like even know what to do. But then they realize that they need to go find Clarice. Excuse me. Someone drove by and she barked at them, and then she just looked at me and barked at me. Um, so we go back to Ardelius, and Clarice starts getting pages because they're like, Tyson sucks. Don't let him get to you.
Right.
And both Clarice and Tyson are talking about their fathers. They're like, we both have um, crappy dads that we thought we could believe in, but here we are.
But here
And
we are.
he sees her bracelet and he hands her the broken bracelet. And she's just like, okay. And then she starts getting a massive number of like pages from the FBI again. Like they just keep
Yeah.
coming. And so she like looks down and realizes it. And Tyson says, whatever happens next, I saw you. That's never good news. And so she
No.
tries to like bolt to the door. And as she's doing it, the bad guys bust in and kidnap her. Because what's another Clarice kidnapping at the
Right.
list?
Honestly,
Um,
at one point when they were while they kidnapped her as they were taking her to the new place, I was like, maybe they planned for this to be a one season show and they just kill her and then I don't have to feel bad about it being over. Like maybe she's just gonna die because it's just actually a weird avant-garde piece with the explaining the actual psychological trauma that Clarice would have gone through based on Silence of the Lambs, and it's trying to be all social justicey about that too, not just
mhm.
all the like racial and sexuality stuff, and it's really just an avant-garde like take on trauma, and they're just going to murder her, and then I will be more satisfied than any ending of the show could have been.
Yeah, well, we will talk about how it was meant to be a little more like an avant-garde take on trauma next week. So stay tuned for that. Um,
Right.
so, so the bad guys kidnap her, and Vicat gets back to the apartment, and she's gone, obviously. And
Yeah.
they find Rebecca's number, and Ardelia finds the broken beads, and knows that like she would have never left. Like even if she wasn't gonna wear it, she would have never left it.
Right.
And so Clarice is in this like cage at the facility, and Ty is there with her. But he won't answer any of her questions. He was just like hanging out. Uh, and then she starts seeing a woman through the cracks. And she heard, and this is after she heard someone screaming. And so she's like, I don't know what's going on. Were you the woman screaming? Like, and then we get our credits. So we start off with a wannabe strong plot.
Yeah.
It wants so hard to be
It wants
suspenseful.
so hard to be.
Yeah. So she talks to the woman and she learns her name is Risa. And I'm wondering, I listened to I listened to 3 different episodes about Chronos today, in preparation to see like what else have I missed? I need to learn more.
Oh, it's
Um,
okay. I went to listen to the DVD extras, the special features in the DVD to have anything to bring to the wrap up podcast. And then as soon as they started talking, I go, honestly, I don't care, and turned it off.
well, I'm glad you didn't watch them because I have a lot to bring to the podcast from them
Okay.
because I
Oh,
watched them.
okay. I
Yeah,
literally started playing it and then I go, I just don't care enough to watch this right now, actually.
yeah, and that's okay. I watched them before work this morning, and I was like,
Mm.
and then like 4 o'clock, I was like, I should told Mary not to watch those because I have a lot of notes that I like want to discuss and get thoughts on.
Well, to be
She
fair,
hasn't
I
seen.
watched them. I went to watch it after work and I didn't know what time you were going to
Mm,
get out of work. And I was like, I don't,
yeah,
I'm good.
yeah,
I'm
no,
good.
no, no. It's for the best. It's for the best.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I listened to a lot of episodes about Chronos, so I was like,
Mm.
I want to pick up on what they're putting down.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if they named her Reza because Kronos' wife was Rhea, which I did not learn until today. Um,
Huh.
and so I'm
I
wondering if
did.
they planned that.
Probably, but also that would be giving them credit for something that I don't want to think that they were intelligent enough to do based on how terrible so much of this is.
Well, see, my thought is they were so heavy-handed with anything they gave you that why wouldn't they go all in? Like,
That's
I think
fair.
it's too much that they named her Reza. That's
It's
kind of what I was
okay.
thinking.
I had a thought there was a way that this show could have saved itself for me.
Hmm.
And it didn't do it. So stay tuned for next week for me to tell
Cool.
you guys the one thing that would have made the show worth it to watch.
Good, that's a question I have for you next week. So you wait till I ask you. Um, so she's talking to Reza, and she starts telling him, she's telling her, she's like, the old man gets them pregnant, the babies die. And I think he has um gonadal mosaicism, which I did mean to look up, but I assume that it just means his gonads don't work correctly. Um, it's
Um,
a infertility issue
Probably.
in the man, I would guess, based on context clues. Um, but she says they always die, and they're like, she's like, there's no way around it. Um,
Huh. It is a genetic mutation that only is present in the germ cells, so the sperm or the eggs of
mhm.
the person, so they don't appear to have anything wrong with them, but their uh offspring is can have a higher recurrence of genetic disorders.
Interesting. So it seems like it was probably passed down
Yeah.
through the lineage, which we'll get to in a bit.
Yeah.
Um, and then this is also when she finally learns, she's like, you're saying things as if you're like, you sound like a doctor. And she's like, but because I am one. She's like, literally, like, first of all, how did you not get there yet, Clarice?
Right.
It is obviously GHH. It is obviously Tyson. Like, he is bringing this woman to his father. We already talked about the one-way tickets. Like, I don't know
Yes,
why
but
you haven't.
she wasn't there. She didn't hear any of that. She just knew that Tyson was somehow involved. She wasn't part of any of those conversations. And would the Clarice that we know have gotten there faster? Yes. But again, bad writing.
Right, right. And so it feels a little like delayed gratification. Like we are, so it's not a surprise for us. And if you want to surprise her, you should surprise us too.
Right.
Um, with this revelation. Um, but she says we're here to get pregnant, and then the machine. And it's like that. That sounds really dark.
It
I
sounds
love that.
super dark.
Yeah. And we go back to Niels and Tyson, and they're talking about like bleaching and steaming, and he's like, it's just as effective as like burning everything down. Like I can just kill them that way. We pop back over to Cap, and Escobar is running down a lead. We lose our Escobar running down a lead. with another person who used to be in in the military or whatever.
Yeah.
Cal is looking for Rebecca, and Matt is ignoring Herman because he has decided he
Yeah.
wants her to like just be at her desk. He doesn't want her working with ViCap, which is like so ridiculous. Um, and she's like, and she tells them that, and they're like, and Paul's like, so shouldn't you be at your desk? And she's like, absolutely. I can't remember her exact line now, but
She
it was
said he said, so should you be at your desk? And she said, no, I think Herman should blow it up his ass.
right. And she said, sir. And I was like, yes, I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. So then Espo goes to talk to his friend, or I guess colleague, and we
Former
learn that like
colleague or something.
right, we learned that all of these guys that used to be like sharpshooters and like really skilled in the military took all these high money jobs working for like really rich people, and so they're just like making buku money.
Which does make sense. A lot of people would, that's what a lot of people do. They retire from the armed forces or from the police and they work as security. Like
Right.
most bouncers at clubs are like retired, like police officers. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. And so like it makes sense that they do that. But we learned he's one of the like the few that didn't go to like a money making job because he wanted to keep kind of like
serving his
so
country.
right. And also it seems that they're all working for bad guys who are really rich, so that's not good
Well,
either.
I mean, bad guys, really rich. Synonyms.
Right, same deal. Mm. So we go back to Clarice and she's comparing the open cages to the sheep back home, and she's like the gates open, we could just leave. And she's like, yeah, someone did that once, and then immediately like were killed. They never came back. And she's like, oh, so it's like the sheep like they don't want to escape because they know the minute they do, they're never coming back. But then they're gonna get killed anyways, even if they do stay. So she
Yeah.
tries to like plan this coup where like they can all run out together. And she's like, and she's so dope about it. She's like, we can plan this. And she's like, at least some of us will get out. And she's like, and I'll make sure, like, for sure you're one of us that get out. And I'm like, so first of all, one,
What,
you can't
how
assume that.
exactly are you going to guarantee
Right.
that?
And is because the only way you could guarantee that is to literally sacrifice everyone else. Like, is your plan to sacrifice other people to save this one person? Is that your plan now? Because that feels like a bad plan. Um, but yeah,
Most of her plans are bad plans.
right. It's so wild. It's Rebecca Vicap, and Cal found Rebecca and got all the info on Nils. Um, and all the like dead children and stuff, and he keeps them as like memento mori is what they called it. Which is a common phrase. And then
Yes.
Clarice says they're going to we're back with Clarice, and they're going to quote the den where there's like a rendering machine. And she's like, oh, they're taking me to the machine just like immediately.
Yeah.
Um, However, they're going to talk to Niels first. And she tells Tyson, basically, she tries to shame Tyson, and she's like, you devoted yourself to this. Like, you know what's going on. This is your fault
Right.
as much as everyone else, which is true.
Yeah.
But not the focus. Sorry. And
Yeah, she chooses a really weird time to like bully him about his loyalties.
right. And so then Nils said that he's like, the Reposol is good for business and the women were bad for Reposol. And it's like, that is not how logic works. Like, you don't get to say people
Mm,
were bad for a drug.
have
Like,
you have you met any
pharmaceutical
pharmaceutical
companies.
companies?
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Speaking of the state of the world.
Yeah.
And so he says he's made them into stories, which is more important because people really like to believe a myth. And so he's like, I'm like it's more about the story anyways. That's why I created these like river murders and made you like follow this path and I've tangled this like woven story, and it's just feels a
Listen,
little Hannibal-esque.
it sure
Um,
does, but like cheaply. And like
Right.
I love the concept of let them believe what they need to believe. People need to believe in stories. Stories tell like run the world because at the end of the day they do. Like
Right.
that's true.
100%.
Facts and figures don't matter. Like you could put everything out on the line. Like that's how politicians get elected. You put everything out on the
Right.
line, you put facts and figures, you put data, nobody votes for that. They vote for what you say. They vote for the story. That's why we read and we watch TV, and the entertainment industry has control of the world, and the news media has control of the world because we function on stories. Human beings function in community, we function on stories. That's true.
Right.
That connecting this bad guy to that idea and using a really powerful story like the Chronos Myth to do it would be fine if they weren't just so awkward about the way they wrote it. Like the way he says things is so bad.
Yeah. And it's
It,
just so, I mean,
it's
it's always at
and
the
it's not
beginning, it's
even
so in your face. Like,
and it's not even what he says. It's not even the content of what he says. It's the actual physical dialogue. It's bad.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Um, so this is where Nils kind of turns it back on Tyson too. And he's like,
Mm.
we've learned he's completely lost faith in him. And so he brought Clarice here specifically so Tyson could kill her. And he's like, apparently he had originally told Tyler that he wouldn't have to choose. And he's like, but I've changed my mind and now you do. And it's like, well, I don't know how you didn't see that coming, Tyson, but sure. He's killed everyone else. Why not Clarice? Um, and then he starts telling the decision shouldn't take so long. And this is something they have. Okay. So then we go back to YCAP, and the FBI is like, has surrounded it's like this old animal facility that closed down in '89 that they're at.
Hmm.
And all of the FBI and SWAT team and stuff are there. And they're trying to just bust in and use exigent circumstances. So there's like 9 warrant exceptions, roughly. And so you can break in without having a warrant. One of those exigent circumstances, if you think that someone is in danger, or you think that like an immediate danger, not like an extended danger, but an immediate danger.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and so that's what they're trying to do. But then he ends up on the phone with Ruth
Well,
here next because we
because even
go.
even then, someone has to give the go ahead. Someone
Mhm.
higher than a team lead has to give the go ahead
Right.
for those exigent circumstances. And since
Well,
he
not
is,
necessarily. Like usually, because they usually that is in the whoever is in charge on base is the one who makes that call. This
mm.
is not necessarily the way it plays out usually in
I
real
think what
life.
was oh okay I think what the because I thought it was the SWAT guy was basically saying that he didn't like trust that it was dire enough to break in without the warrant, and so he needed the go ahead from someone higher up than him.
Well, if he feels that way, then he needs it. But if someone who is there, like if Paul decides it's exigent circumstances, he can break in and he can say, "I've done this on reasonable calls," and you have a lot of limitations still. Like you can't just go wild when you get inside, but you can if you have a specific thing that you think is going to happen to a specific person, you can go in and find that person and make sure like
But so
that's what
then,
it
if he
is.
didn't have permission from the AG, would he just be responsible for rescuing Clarice and not actually like getting evidence or putting the every like the whole operation in?
Um, yeah, yes and no. So like you go in if you go in with especially with a warrantless search, you go in based on your reasonable cause to find who is in danger. But anything you see in plain sight is also an exception. Like plain sight is an exception to a warrant. So like if you are just looking in a door and there's like cocaine on the table, even if you're not allowed inside or you don't have a warrant to search their place, but you see something in front of you
Mm.
happening, then it's still like you can still use it. It's not um
Okay,
considered fruit of the poisonous tree. So like when he walks in and gets like barreled over by a woman who's being kept in a cage, you can still use that. Like you're not
got it,
gonna
got it.
yeah, so
Okay,
but you have to prove that the circumstances were exigent, that you didn't just make them up. And like they'll have enough evidence here because one of their FBI members is about to die. And there's plenty of proof of that.
yeah,
So like you can't just come up with a story, present it, and have no proof because then it's gonna get overturned and everything you found will get overturned.
got
Even if
it.
it was plain sight, most likely.
That
But
makes
yeah,
sense.
so that's usually up to the police officer or whoever is at the location
Okay,
to determine if there's enough reasonable cause or not. Mm. Yeah, that'll be on the bar. And
See, I'm just helping you study. That's it.
thank you. That's all I asked for. I listened to an episode of My Favorite Murder. I listened to one of the Rewind episodes, and they had Guy Branum on, who I always forget is a lawyer because he's like a really funny comedian.
Yeah.
Um, and they had him on to discuss different criminal like code stuff. And literally all of it was like the elements of murder and manslaughter and how it changes here and how evidence works. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
literally just studying for the bar,
Yeah.
listening to My Favorite Murder. Like,
Perfect.
um, but it was fun. It's a great episode though. I think it's like 47 or something, but if you haven't listened to anyone in the world, you should go listen to it. It's
I am not
spot
there
on.
yet. I'm not there yet. I listened
I'm sorry, you'll
to
get there one day.
I'm listening to Minnesota 8 right now, which is between episodes like 37 and
30.
30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you'll get there eventually, but
Yeah.
anyone else, it's a really good description. If you are interested in stuff like the criminal code and evidence and whatnot, he does do a really good job explaining it. Um, so head on over. Um, Anyway, so they get the AG on the phone and we learn that Llewellyn is trying to get her to step down. He's like threatening her and he's like, you don't want to cross paths with Nils, like just let it go. Um, and she starts asking him if he's taken any money from Nils. She's like, how much campaign money did he give you?
Right.
And Paul interrupts this conversation with a call and she tells him to wait for a warrant. And then basically he flips her. He's like, this is Clarice. We know she's in there. And then she's like, great, go ahead.
Yeah.
So Paul sends them all in. And then we learned that on this call that he had that one of the issues is that Escobar used coercion to get the information that he has,
Which
which
we saw
we saw.
pretty graphically.
Um, and that could be something that could cause fruit of poison tree issues, but we won't deal with that right now. So that's one of the reasons they're like, wait for the warrant because we already have issues against us. We don't want anything
Yeah.
extra. Um, but he goes and he fusses at Escobar for causing a scene basically and doing all this coercion and whatnot.
Did he
And
fuss at Escobar?
he did. He went and like grabbed him and shook him, and he was like, "What were you thinking?"
Oh, I thought
Um,
that was only in the deleted scene.
no, we it did have almost the exact same. It was
Oh,
that little piece at the end with
and
Ardelia.
that was the
Yeah,
part
that
that
was
was
new.
deleted. Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So then we go inside and we start hearing about Neil's father, which I've learned today. Chrono's father was Uranus, and he had the same issues with that Chronos had, and also was killing his children and whatnot, and
Yeah,
bad dude.
the Titans were fucked up. Like
Yeah, I learned all about them today.
everybody thinks that the Greek gods were bad, but like the Greek gods saved humanity from the Titans who were fucked. Like
Yeah, it's absolutely wild. It's bonkers. Um, oh, so the ones that I listened to, let's talk about Myth Baby, which is one I like, but they only had a mini-sode on it. I listened to
mm,
Mythology,
okay.
which they do like a dramatized story version of it in between telling you about it. Not
Oh,
my favorite style, but
okay.
not it does do a good job of telling the story. But
You
then I
know,
listened to
who else does that? Unsolved murders or unsolved
yeah,
mysteries.
I unfollowed them because I tried to do that and I don't really like that style.
I actually like theirs, but I think I just like the voice actors on that one.
Yeah. Well, this isn't bad for that, and I did make it through this one, so you might like them too.
Okay.
But then teaching mythology is actually a teacher who teaches it to high schoolers, and she's amazing.
Okay.
I love her the most out of all of them. Both teaching mythology and the mythology did two-parters, so you
Okay.
can look
Well,
up
because
any one of
I
those.
know you love Let's Talk About Myth Baby.
I do, but they only did like a 15-minute episode. It was like a mini
Mm,
myth, is what they called it. So it wasn't the full story. And I was like, oh no, I need more
I
information than
mean,
what I
yeah.
already do. Um, because it was a Father's Day mini myth, so it was like an overview of all of the bad fathers in mythology.
Which is great, but you would think that they would have an actual episode about
I
Kronos because
know,
that's like a story.
right? And it's possible that like she just named it something and I just couldn't find it.
Mm.
Um, but I couldn't find it, so I didn't do it. Anyways, so we're inside, so we're learning about this, and we learned that similarly to how he was testing out, sleeping with women and having kids that keep dying and Reversal and whatnot, that his dad was testing out children's gas masks on children. Um,
Well, so we had learned from the VICAP team's research into Niels Hagen that his dad was a scientist in World War One Germany,
mhm,
which is a very important distinction because
for
when they
sure.
started to say that he was born in Germany and his dad was a scientist, I was like, we are not doing Nazi doctors again. I can't do Nazi doctors again. But then it wasn't. It was World War One, which was Germany was still not on the same side as us in World War One,
Right.
but Germany using gas masks because of the trench warfare and mustard gas was a very different kind of scientist than a Nazi doctor.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so he told all of his workers to bring in one of their kids and didn't tell them why, and then tested these gas masks on them. And then,
Yeah, that part's a little bit fucked up.
yeah, don't love that.
But to be fair, no, it's not fair. To be fair,
I was gonna say, please tell me where are you about to go with
to be
this?
fair, he did only ask the people who had more than one kid to do it.
That
So
is true. So very China of him. Um,
that's why I
and
said to be fair, it's not fair. It's not good. But like
right,
at least he wasn't like, I'm gonna kill the
your
entire
only
like only
kid.
child and the entire idea of your family having a legacy. He was like, if you already have more than one kid, we are in the middle of a war, everybody's dying anyway, you probably don't have enough rations for your kid. Let's
Yeah,
donate them to science.
right. You just aren't gonna until it's over. Um, and we learned that Niels had a brother who was disabled, and the dad basically made him choose which one of them were gonna be sacrificed to science. And he's like, and that's when I became who I am today. It's like, that's fair. Like, I don't want to say like you have a reason to be this way, but like,
But you do
uh,
because your dad was like, hey, do you want to commit suicide potentially to help me? Or do you want to then carry the weight your entire life of making the decision that I probably as a parent would make anyway to have my already disabled in a time where, like, think about it, 1910,
yeah,
disabled kids don't have treatment.
yeah,
Like, you're like, as a parent, which decision would he have made? Probably that one. So now,
right,
instead of making the decision and being a man and facing up to the fact that I am doing something awful to my family for science and for my country, I'm going to put the weight of all of that negativity on my small child.
yep, yep. And so that's basically what Niels does to Tyson. But Tyson's a little bit older, and he's like, you can kill Clarice or you can basically die. And so he's like, you pick which one's gonna happen. Um, and so he's like, I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it, because he doesn't want his dad to do it.
Yeah.
Um, so I told the story not from my notes, not in my notes. I just did it from. Okay, so they hear the FBI coming in, and everybody's like, we gotta get out. Like, I cleared a path. One of the henchmen's like, I cleared a path. Let's
Yeah.
go. And he's like, but my children. And he's like, we gotta just go. And he just shoots him. He like point blank
He's
shoots
like,
him.
I'm not leaving without my children.
Yeah. And they go to the children, and it's all of the fetuses that did survive, which is just so traumatic to experience that much. And I say that as someone who, like, when I was in high school, when I did a doctor program where I like interned at the hospital for 3 months, and then the next year we did like a follow up at a different location, and they had fetuses at different levels that we saw in jars. However, they died natural causes. They were not, and it was not this situation. It was just
Right.
sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
And it
When
was
it does happen,
upsetting.
it's upsetting and unfortunate, but also you can then use science to help and
Right.
make sure that you're prepared for it to not happen again.
Right. And that is what that whole thing was that we were learning
Correct.
about. Whereas this is not that. And
No.
it is very upsetting. Um, and so then they're just like in glass jars, just like Neil's dad was talking about keeping pieces in glass jars. And this is his children, which isn't creepy at all. So we also learned that, which we I feel like we should have known. I don't think we said it out loud, but I feel like we should have known that Ty's mom was also one of these women. She just happened to have escaped. Um,
I don't think that was ever explicitly said before, but I didn't assume any differently because
right.
wow,
Like they acted like it was almost like a surprise to everyone. And I was like, I think we knew
I
this,
just
even
I
though just
just
intuitively.
I just assumed that it was just another if that's what he was doing, why would he have done it differently?
Right, right. So that just felt like a weird way to tell you a big shocking fact that wasn't shocking at all. Um, but Clarice is trying to use that against Tyson, and she's like telling him, she's like, Nils killed your mother. Like, what do you think happened? He's like massive scientist. She died from what appeared to be natural causes, but then he immediately found you after all of these years. Like, do you think it was like accidental? She's like, this all happened because Nils made this happen.
Yeah.
Um, and then we go outside and they're coming inside and Krindler's walking through. And a girl jumps out and attacks him, and it's Reyes that jumps out and attacks him. And he's like, whoa, 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 I'm the FBI. And Ardelia had come in with him. And she's like, you're safe, everything's fine, go back in there. Because people are obviously like getting ready to shoot Chris Hinchman
Yeah.
around. And Krindler gets shot. Speaking of. Um, and then we go back to Clarice and Nils, and they're both trying to negotiate with Ty. And Nils is like, just shoot her. And Clarice is like, you don't want to do this. Like, this is, these are all the things he's done. And Clarice wins, and Tyson shoots Nils, who falls into the jars and crushes them all and dies.
Yeah.
So, good news, prophecy fulfilled. We've completed the myth. Um, good for us. Um, So then we go back to Crinler and we learned that the bullet went under his vest, which I'm not really sure how that happened. That's fine. So
Yeah.
it went under his vest and his lung is pierced or punctured. And he tells Matt to make the call and then get the women out. He's like, you can let him know that we need to get people in here, etc. And so she does. And Clark and Cal go in, um, but then Escobar is being a sniper and shoots the henchman at the door so that they're free to go in. And the
Yeah.
girls all start running out. So they are free. So Clarice and Ty hear more glass shatter because they hear these shots and whatnot. And Tyson says he still has two bullets. He says, is there still a chance for me? I was like, really? This is sort of like, this isn't what I wanted to happen, but okay.
Um,
And so,
yeah, but here's the thing. I understand where Tyson is coming from.
oh, for sure.
Because Tyson, while he absolutely did horrific things, he was abused to the point of doing said horrific things.
Mhm.
And he found the one person so far ever in his life since his mom died that made him feel like maybe he was not the only person whose life was traumatic.
Right.
Clarice's response to him is bullshit.
Out of left field. It is so
That it
off the
is the
wall.
most off, out of pocket, uncharacteristic, unreasonable thing that has ever been written. And that's why I
Absolutely.
know this show was not written to tell a story. It was written to tell me what the writers want me to think about people.
Yes, which
Because
is pretty true.
that it
Um,
was no, Clarice
yeah.
would not, because Clarice would want him to go to jail so that he could get therapy, so that he
So
could
you can get and you can
be
get
okay
justice.
and get justice for himself too.
Yeah. Because
No,
it's the easy way out. Why would she let him have the easy way out when there's something to work through? Like you have to get through it. You can't just give up, basically.
correct.
And it's so wild. And he starts telling her, she's like, you have to decide what you're gonna do. Like you're always going to have this burden to carry no matter what happens. And he's like, but you saw me, right? He's like, all of this happened. Like, nobody's ever seen me. You saw me, right? And she says, no, you were in my blind spot, but I see you now. And then he shoots himself. And Matt sees all of this happen. And I'm anticipating her saying something, but no, she doesn't.
No, because
Because why?
the
Why would
show is
she?
written so badly.
Mhm. And so then Paul is still kicking a bit. I was like, oh, I thought he like died, but
I
here we
thought
are.
so too, but no.
That's fine. I mean, I like him. Guess I'm glad he didn't die.
Right.
Um, but then Clarice Escobar like make eyes at each other, and she takes a deep breath, like she can finally breathe again, which is fine. Um, and so we go to the hospital, and they're talking about Paul. And they're like, the next 12 hours are critical. Like we don't know what's gonna happen, but we have like this 12 hours matters.
Yeah.
And then we start seeing on the TV all of the announcements coming out. They announced the findings of Alistair and Niels, how he died. Rebecca's being interviewed about all of it. And then we see the AG standing up, and she starts saying she's standing up for the survivors. And she announces that, like, we're going to go, like, this isn't over. Like, we found out that something happened, and now we're going to find everyone who was involved. And she's like, and we're going to do that by following the campaign money, starting with Llewellyn and me.
And I was like, how in the fuck, after 13 episodes, did somehow this crazy ass AG become the only character on the whole show I like?
Right? Right. Well, and
Which,
Catherine, I'm in with Catherine too.
well, yeah, but when she was
Yeah.
like, when she was like, I want to prove for without a shadow of doubt that anybody who touched his money didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
So I won't try to hide myself. I'll put my shit out in public too.
Mhm.
And I was like,
She's like, we're all in this together, baby. Ugh, yeah, I love her. I love her. And so then we see that Catherine's watching. Um, and Clarice goes to see Catherine, and we learn that Catherine was in this same like place before this where she went after Bill. So this
yeah.
isn't her like first go around with this. And then we go back to a flashback, and we see the same flashback with Clarice's mom yelling, like, you have to get out of here, you have to get out of here. And we learn that she was just trying to protect her all this time.
Yeah,
She knew
because
her dad was bad news, and she's a child, so she was trying to protect her. And she's
yeah,
like,
when she kept all the other kids and sent Clarice away to live on the farm, it was because the psychos who killed her dad wanted to also kill her.
right, right. But she never saw that before. And so she hasn't seen her mom since she was 10. And so she has a breakdown. And Catherine hugs her and supports her. Uh, so we go back to the FBI, and Herman is putting Matt on administrative leave. He's like, I don't know why you had to disobey me. He's like, your Black Coalition like stuff was working, like it was going through, it was processing, you were following the right like order of things, and now you just keep going off on your own. So I have to do this. And basically you've ruined everything. And she calls him out, and she's like, you're not here to protect the people. We're here to protect and serve. And you're not here to protect the people. You're here to protect the institution. She's
Yeah.
like, I'll let them know you did a good job, but that is all you're here for. Um, and that he's potentially racist, which obviously. Um, and so then Escobar goes to tell Clark about the coercion. He's like, I need to like first of all, he's like, I can't call you a superior. And he's like, I don't even want to be here. But he's like, okay. And so he's like, I want to tell you. And Clark's like, no, you don't need to like worry about that. Like, no one else
Yeah.
knows. Just let it be. We're moving
Yeah.
past it. He's like, too late. I found an entirely like full report that details everything that happened, which I guess is technically the good guy thing to do. But like, he's like, I did
100%.
it. It's too late. He's like,
No, like
okay,
100% do that. Like
right.
because here's the thing. If he gets in trouble for that, he gets in trouble for it.
Mhm.
If he doesn't say that anything happens, it comes out that that story is real and they get in trouble for it. They lose VICAP
The
probably,
edge. Hmm.
and they lose any leverage they had on Niels's company because obviously Niels is
Right.
dead, so he's not going
Sure.
to jail. But his company is still going to be held responsible to all the women,
Right.
to the families, like whatever. And if they lose any wiggle room in their evidence, that goes out the window.
Yeah.
So 100% it was the correct thing to do.
No, absolutely. But Clark is like,
Because what's the
okay,
worst thing to
fine.
do? He loses his job and then he goes back and gets another high paying security job.
Right, right. Yeah. They'll put him somewhere else. He'll probably
Right.
be gone on leave for a week. Um,
Or two.
so we go back.
2 weeks
Maybe
leave
two.
seems to be the thing.
Right. That's our status quo. So we go back to the hospital and Paul wakes up and Clarice is there and he's like, have you been here this whole time? And she's like, no. She's like, mostly Clark. But like we've cycled in it now. Like you
Yeah.
just happened to wake up while I was here. Um, but she tells him, she's like, we got him. And it's just that's the short version. He's like, okay.
Okay.
And then she's telling her that he's like talking to her or whatever, and she's like, I quit myself. And she's like, I would really like it if I could come back. And he's like, no, you have to go sit down for 2 weeks. Then you can come back.
Yeah.
However, you do have to take a
You do have
mandatory
to
leave for a minimum two
actually,
weeks.
yeah, actually
Yeah.
take mandatory leave.
And she's like, sounds like a good plan. He's like, I should get shot more. I was like, that is probably true. That did set off a lot of things.
Because people actually
So
listen to you after you've been shot.
right. And then we learned that Matt fixed her necklace and added a bead for the two of them. And she made
Yeah.
it like she was like basically like you can't hide from your trauma, but you can grow
Yeah.
from it and you can make it into something new.
Yeah.
And then Clarice goes off on a drive and of course goes home to see her mom. And that is where we end. Um,
Forever.
we do have a couple of deleted scenes. One where Clark's going through Clarice's voicemail and to like find out information about her. He's like, it's literally just voicemails from Matt. Like there is nothing else. This woman has
Yeah.
no other friends or no other contacts. Um, and then we also learned that Joe sent the video of Paul drinking to Mandy, and so he thinks he's lost his kids forever.
Yeah.
Um, and then we get that last scene. Oh no, we get the scene where Matt comes in and asks about Escobar and Cal, and she's saying that she's not on Paul's team. This is where you were saying earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Um, they're at the facility, and he's like, "I'm not letting my team go in," and she's like, "I'm not on your team." And
Yeah.
she's like, "I'm coming in with you." And they go in together, and they go find Clarice. So that is our episode. I know we're going to talk more overarching, and we have a lot to discuss next week. But like,
Okay.
what do you think? What are your thoughts? How are you feeling?
Um, I guess it was about as satisfying an ending as this show was gonna get.
Mhm.
Um, it ended and Dan goes, "Is this the end?" I go, "Yep. Thank God." And he goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize it was that bad." He goes, "Remember when it started and we thought it had so much promise?" I was like, "Yeah, for like 2 episodes."
Yeah.
No, I just was editing old like the podcast episodes and like up to like episode 4 or 5, we were still very cautiously optimistic.
Right.
And then
It went off the rails, and we're going to talk about a lot of the production stuff next week and a lot of the writer's intents and the writer's choices um, that were just wrong. And we'll discuss why. So we will get more into that. But yeah, I mean, I wanted to like it. I wanted to believe that the reason people were like so hung up on it was because it wasn't Hannibal, and that wasn't it.
that yeah.
Like that, unfortunately, was not the reason people didn't like it.
Ugh. And I feel
Um,
bad because I said so much shit about people at the beginning about people not liking it and just being like not prepared for it to just be another procedural show. And the
right,
problem was I was prepared for it to be another procedural show. I would have been fine if it was a procedural show. And the
right.
procedural parts of it I liked. It's just that it's written so poorly that I don't care about a single character.
Well, and it's so unstructured. Like you don't have the flow you need. You don't have the directions there to make sure everything like goes right. Like it just everything feels out of place, and every episode feels almost like episode of the week when it very much should not.
Right.
And like we obviously have an overarching story that carries through every episode, but it does almost feel like episode of the week because of how different it is from the one
Well, and
before
here's
it.
the thing, at the beginning of this episode with this show where everything was episode of the week and then it
Mhm.
turns out that there wasn't, I liked it. Once they
Yeah.
tried to go too deep into the everything is connected, they did it badly. So if it had been episodic and just focused on this ViCap team and Clarice's trauma,
Mhm.
I would have been down with it.
Yeah. The premise of what they wanted to happen, especially after listening to them talk, would have been a good show had
Which
you
is
given it to someone else.
so disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, so I don't have a lot to go into this week because all
We're
of my notes
gonna,
for next week.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's safe to say it wasn't our favorite show we've covered.
Yeah.
And we do have the wrap up, and then we watch Hannibal, and then we're done with the universe. Well, we'll have DNA awards, and then we'll be done with the universe. So, that's okay. We're pushing through, and we're gonna at least end on a high note. We're not gonna end on Clarice. We're gonna end on Hannibal.
Yeah.
So it should be okay. It's Anthony Hopkins, and who is it? Juliette Lewis? Is that who plays Clarice in this one?
Isn't it Julianne Moore?
Julianne Moore. Yeah, yeah. I couldn't remember which one. I haven't seen this one yet. Um,
I don't
but yeah.
think I have either. I've seen like clips of her as
Mhm.
Clarice, but that's it.
I see. I didn't until like we were doing this. I didn't realize there was a different Clarice other than
Well,
the
because
TV show
Jodie
Clarice.
Foster,
And
well, Jodie
yeah,
Foster is so iconic that like,
right. Yeah.
but
Um. But yeah. So, who do you want to punch?
honestly, this is so hard because I have like a top five.
I know. I know.
But I think I'm gonna go with Tyson.
That's fair. That's fair. Um. Yeah, he's a good choice. Um. For the sake of the show, I'm I'm gonna go with Clarice.
Which that was my number two.
I
So
don't like how her character played out at
this
all.
the
And
her character in this episode was just not even her character.
yeah. Um, so who's your MVP?
Weird. Ruth.
Yeah, no, she's a good one. Um, I think because you went with Ruth, I think I'm gonna go with Matt.
There.
She
The only reason I didn't go with Map was because she didn't react to Clarice letting
right.
somebody commit suicide. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I was stuck since you picked Ruth, I was stuck between like Paul and Matt, but
which between the two of them, I would have gone with Map also.
yeah. So yeah, so that is our show. That is our episode of Clarice. It is the last one. Please join us for the wrap up. I do have some really interesting stuff to talk about, and I have a lot of production notes, which I don't normally do. I'm gonna have to buy the DVD set for every other show we ever do. Um,
And the
because I
crazy
feel
thing is, for
cluttered.
Stargate, I have the DVDs. Still don't watch the commentaries
Yeah, yeah,
because I
that's
don't have
okay. But
time.
you know a lot of it too,
I
though.
do, I
Like,
do. I just don't have
yeah,
time to actually watch the full commentaries.
no, that's totally fair. Um, but yeah, so please join us. It's gonna be a fun time. We have a lot of good like discussion topics, and I think you're gonna enjoy it. And I hope that while you're probably not gonna like the show still after, I hope that it at least brings a little bit of like ease to the way you
Understanding.
feel a bit about it. Yeah, it's an
Okay.
understanding and a little bit of closure to the show, even if it isn't really, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Um, so stay tuned. That'll be fun. In the meantime, we're gonna have Stargate 8.3.
Yes.
Stargate SG-1
To one.
8.3.
Yes.
And you can talk to us about all you want about Clarice now. Click over so you can tell us anything you want. Um, you can email us deathandaliens@gmail.com. You can find us on all of the social media at Death and Aliens. You can find me at CECloud13.
And you can find me everywhere at EMKAY_superstar.
And we'll see you Sunday. Bye.
Bye.